Hello again, sweet darlings. If you're new here, then welcome. I'm Elizabeth. I'm a mom of two, a stepmom of two, and a homemaker and wife living in the English countryside. And I release weekly videos here all about faith, femininity, and homemaking. So if you don't already subscribe, it would be lovely to have you along on this journey. For everybody who is already subscribed, welcome back. And thank you all so much for your support with this Feasting with the Saints enterprise idea that I had, which really just started as something for me. But before we dive into looking ahead to Easter and beautiful recipes for your family to enjoy in April and the Easter Octave, let me just introduce Feasting with the Saints for those of you who are new here. So Feasting with the Saints is something that started as a labor of love for myself, someone who is a new Catholic. It'll be my 2-year anniversary of my confirmation in May, and I really wanted a accessible way to follow the pre-1955 traditional liturgical calendar in a manageable way, day-to-day basis. How could I connect with the saints? How could I learn about the saints? I knew that it wasn't going to work for me to just sit down and read about them, and I thought, well, what about if I tried to put something together where I could find a recipe that kind of complements their heritage or ties into their story, and just put together kind of a page for me to read. I keep all of my recipes in a ring binder, so kind of printed in this kind of format, and I thought I can just hole punch them and put them in a binder and read about a saint every day on their feast day and cook something, learn some new recipes in the process, kind of hone my homemaking skills there. And this just really blossomed into a beautiful thing that I'm now sharing with hundreds of you around the world. Thank you so much to everybody who already purchased the March booklet. That contained 19 recipes. And for the April booklet, it's going to contain 24 recipes because there's so many different saint feast days. And obviously we've got Easter, which is every day of the Easter Octave is special. And there's traditional recipes associated with those and traditions for you to learn about. So if you haven't already seen the March booklet, what you can expect is that for every day that there is a feast day or an observance, like an Emperor Day, for example, you will have kind of a double page spread like this, where you'll have, this is for St. Joseph, and the recipe video for that is coming out next week. So you've got information about St. Joseph, maybe some readings, excerpts from the Bible, traditions associated with his feast day, for example. So he's widely celebrated in Italy, and a prayer perhaps, or some more information depending on the saint. And then I have explained the recipe choices, so I do explain why I've chosen each recipe. Some of them it's linked to their heritage, some of them there really are specific dishes around the world that are always made on their feast day, which is fascinating in itself. And then the other page is a full page for the recipe, so you've got your ingredients, you've got your prep time, cook time, how many people does it serve, what course is it, what cuisine is it, a little quote at the top, something to inspire you while you're cooking, or a little bit of extra interesting information. And then on each page there's just usually there's a little space for notes as well, if you just want to add a little note or a little reflection as you're cooking, or a way that you improved the recipe perhaps. So that's what you can expect for every single one of those feast days, an annual bundle. So if this is something that sounds like fun to you, and a really enriching way to kind of grow in connection to the saints, and also, you know, learn some lovely new recipes, then the annual bundle kind of saves you almost 20% off the individual cost of the booklets. And then you get a year's worth of recipes, so we'll be emailing those out every month with bonus content and kind of personalized email from me. So it'd be lovely to have you along for a year. I really appreciate those of you who have already purchased an annual bundle. That is so lovely, and I'm super excited to keep releasing weekly videos on this channel with recipes for different saints, and talk to you a little bit, reflect with you, and kind of chat as if we were over our kitchen tables. This is my kind of dining room table, and my kitchen is behind me, and I like to imagine kind of that I'm chatting to a friend when I'm chatting to all of you. But without further ado, let's jump into talking about Easter and April and our next recipe booklet, which is now available on our website. The same price as before, £3.49. It's a PDF download. There are so many feast days in Easter, obviously, and also the Easter Octave. There's, you know, we wanted to have something special for every one of those days. And what I found very interesting when looking into the Easter Octave and the traditions around that, is that it's actually now one of the only 2 remaining octaves that is still celebrated by the Catholic Church. And before 1955 and kind of the reforms that kind of kickstarted then and followed through like into the 80s, over time there used to be 15 octaves that were celebrated throughout the year, which is like an 8-day period from the first day of the feast to the end day of the feast. Which relates back to Jewish tradition, but there used to be 15 that were celebrated within the Catholic Church basically, and now there's only 2. So again, that's been something really beautiful for us about looking into kind of the pre-1955 traditional calendar and trying to follow it along, is that we're learning a lot more about those kind of observances and octaves that used to be celebrated and why, and the traditions around them. So Easter is still celebrated as an octave. So we've tried to include information in there about every day of the octave and traditions around it, stuff like the liturgy, which is usually said, special songs and hymns and prayers as well. So similar content as last month, but you're getting 5 extra recipes because it's a very busy month in April. So I'm going to kickstart April with a vegetarian lasagna for Saint Herman Joseph and Saint John Baptiste de la Salle, who share a feast day. Next, I'm going to make an olive oil cake with citrus glaze. I just love olive oil cake and anything kind of citrusy. It just sounds so beautiful and spring-like and refreshing. So I'm very excited to make that, and that's for Palm Sunday. For Easter Sunday, I'm going to make a traditional Eastern European dessert called a babka, and it's an Easter chocolate babka, which is kind of a braided chocolate bread, which was traditionally served on Easter morning, and it's something that was traditionally made around Easter because it needs a very long rise time, so people would make it on Easter Saturday while they were waiting for Easter Sunday, kind of preparing the house, preparing the feast. You're not yet feasting, you're not yet celebrating, but you know that it's coming. So it's the perfect time to kind of make those sweet treats so that on Easter Sunday you really can feast and celebrate. So I'm really excited to make that. I'm also going to specially celebrate St. George, the patron saint of England, with a steak and kidney pie, because we love pie in this house and we love steak, and I have been looking for a way to kind of bring more organ meat into our diet, so I'm definitely going to make that recipe. And then also biscotti, Italian biscotti, for St. Paul of the Cross. We have given up coffee in this house for Lent, which if anybody's done that before, it can be a little bit of a challenge. It's been a good kind of challenge, but I am looking forward to being able to have a coffee again, and I thought making biscotti would be a nice way to celebrate that towards the end of April after Easter Sunday. And I just wanted to share with you this quote from the Venerable Fulton Sheen, which I loved about coffee, which says, "Even sisters in convents whose rules were written before electric percolators were developed would do well to update their procedures. Let them have coffee before meditation." He also has a great quote, which I thought about putting in the booklet, but I didn't. I've been trying to kind of include an inspirational quote from either a famous Catholic or a pope or from a saint in each of the recipes, just for kind of a little bit of added inspiration for you. And he had a great quote, which was something along the lines of, if there's no Good Friday in your life, there can be no Easter Sunday. Just kind of highlighting the importance of the cross, obviously, for all of us. So that's really just kind of a whistle-stop tour of what's in April. You're getting extra recipes. We have added a table of contents this time, so this time you can look at the beginning of your booklet and you're going to see all of the dates, all of the recipes, so you can skip ahead if there's something in particular that you want to make because it's the kind of recipe that you enjoy, or you can just follow it through chronologically and learn about the saints on their feast day. Also, it's so lovely that so many of you ordered one of our traditional calendars. Those have gone off all over the world, from Australia to the US to Switzerland to Holland. So that was also such a lovely surprise. I really hope that that's bringing you joy and it's making it easier in a way to follow along with this traditional kind of feasting with the saints calendar that I'm following, because I am following the pre-1955 feast days for these saints, and the octaves obviously, and things like the Ember Days, which I mentioned in a previous video. But yeah, I really hope that you'll join me for Feasting with the Saints in April. I hope that you're enjoying the recipe videos. I'd love to hear your feedback. And obviously, if you have bought a recipe booklet from us and you've been enjoying it, it would mean the world if you could leave a review on our website. That would be so, so nice. I would love to hear if you had a favorite recipe. I would love to hear if you liked the illustrations, if you found it easy to read, if there's kind of any way that we can improve, because obviously we've now released an annual bundle that you can buy ahead of time, and you'll receive the monthly booklet straight to your inbox, as well as bonus content. So we are going to send those people who buy the annual bundle just some kind of bonus information, maybe some bonus recipes, and probably will vary month to month, just a little bit of added value for you, and a personalized email from me. I look forward to making some of these recipes with you and kind of chatting through my phone to you across the world, sending you love and prayers, and just bringing you into my little kitchen, my little corner of the English countryside, which is imperfect. And I hope that that comes across, that I'm not making these in any kind of fancy perfect way. I'm doing it with kids in tow. I want to encourage all of you out there who have little kitchens or big messy kitchens, or like kids under your feet, or dogs, or just whatever struggle you might have to, make things perfectly. Just don't worry about it. Just have fun. If all that you do is sit and read the information about the saints with a cup of coffee, and you save the recipe for another time, or you give it to a friend, that's okay. I'm just so happy that you're all here with me, and I'm thinking about you all of the time. Okay, so I have just realized I also should have said that all of the recipes for Easter are also still Lenten fast appropriate. So I've only included 1 or 2 recipes that include any meat at all, and there's no red meat recipes until after Easter Sunday. So there is a lovely Florentine steak recipe included in the booklet. There are sausage stuffed piquillo peppers for a Spanish saints feast day. There's fish for every Friday, in keeping with tradition, obviously, but it's mostly just meat-free meals, desserts, obviously some nice breakfast options, some nice light breakfast options, kind of Mediterranean flavors as we come into spring. Just really quite joyful dishes, I think, really refreshing flavors, nothing too heavy or difficult to make. So I just wanted to add that in there, that I am, keeping that in mind, that some of you might be following a Lenten fast without meat. So that is still the case up until Easter Sunday, and then we're kind of in a little bit of feasting mode. So that's something to look forward to as well if you purchase the booklet, that there's lots of nice celebration recipes towards the end of Easter. I really wanted to say a big thank you to everybody who has joined me so far on this journey of Feasting with the Saints. I really didn't anticipate when I put out the video I did about Catholic recipes for Lent, how many people would watch that video, how many people would take the next step and leave a lovely comment, and even kind of, go all the way and buy one of those booklets from us and leave us lovely comments and send me beautiful emails. So really, I'm incredibly touched by all of your support, and I would just say a few people did have problems downloading the PDF, and I would say firstly, make sure that you check your junk folder, because sometimes our emails are ending up in people's junk folder, unfortunately. And also, if the first time the download isn't successful, if you're doing it on a phone, definitely try doing it on a computer if you can. And also, if you're using an older browser, try to either update your browser if it needs it, or use another browser. Sometimes I find that if I'm using Safari, actually it's better if I switch to something like Chrome, for example. So yeah, just fiddle around a little bit if you can before assuming that the PDF hasn't successfully downloaded. Thank you so much again, and I hope to see you again soon for another video. But in the meantime, take good care, and God bless. And now my kettle is about to boil, so I'm going to go and make myself a cup of tea and do the dishes. So whatever it is that you've got planned today, I hope that it's lovely, but I'm off to do dishes and have tea and write you all a newsletter, I think. Write you